All right, moving on. Sandip Ghosh, the former principal of Kolkata's Arjikar Medical College and Hospital, was allegedly involved in criminal activity with other co-accused for wrongful gain. And according to testimony given to the court by the Central Bureau of Investigation, the charges brought by the CBI are related to their probe into possible corruption at Arjikar, where Ghosh was fired as a principal after a trainee doctor there was allegedly raped and killed on the 9th of August. The agency produced the group after their arrest and filed charges against them before the special court in Alipur on September the 3rd. The judge was informed about how two vendors, Singha and Hazra, who Ghosh had previously worked with at the Murshidabad Medical College and Hospital, had benefited from hospital contracts awarded to them once he transferred to the Kolkata National Medical College and Hospital and subsequently Arjikar. The CBI further detailed how he favoured his security assistant Afsar Ali, who was the fourth person arrested here. Meanwhile, amidst the growing furor and doctors' protests over the horrific incident, patient Vikram Bhattacharjee from West Bengal's Konagar died at the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata after being hit by a truck. This has also sparked a controversy. Trinamool Congress MP Kunal Ghosh claimed that Vikram Bhattacharjee did not receive proper treatment. However, the hospital refuted these allegations. We'll talk about this and much more with our guest. Joining us on the show at this point in time is Pratim Ranjan Bose, who is a columnist, Mr. Ashwini Dubey, advocate on record, Supreme Court, a senior lawyer, a well-known face, joins us on the show as well. Nirmal Kaur, former IPS, served as the DGP in Jharkhand, with us on the program as well. And Dr. Asim Mehti, child specialist and neonatologist, also with us on the broadcast. Thank you everyone for being a part of this important conversation. Ashwini, I'll begin with you. From a legal point of view, there is a lot to be done, a lot to be established. But, from whatever, we have seen, whatever we have read and whatever has transpired, it seems to me, Ashwini, that this hospital, despite the horrific and dastardly incident that took place on 9th of August, is also a cesspool of criminal activity. And it's basically not only a wake-up call, but a very important reminder that something like this has existed right under the nose of the government, right under, the umbrage of the law and order custodians in West Bengal, and it is a terrible precedent.
Yes, Vineet bhai, very, very rightly you have said that it was going on with the help, with the aid, with the glorification by the state. And Kolkata rape case, Vineet bhai, as you rightly said, has opened many lawlessness of the state. What we come to know, that the Sandip Ghosh, his role, Sandip Ghosh, main preparator of corruption, not only the corruption, let us talk about one by one, the way the state glorified the offenders and patronized them, shows that there is no rule of law. But Vineet bhai, rule of law of ruler, of course. The way mob entered, 7,000 mob inside the hospital. And there was a police mute spectator. This shows that the preparators of the crime knowingly, with a conspiracy, joint conspiracy, entered in order to destroy the evidence. In a criminal jurisprudence, Vineet bhai, each second is very much important, and it is the duty of the police to secure the evidence, to take it for the further conclusion. But here, for hours, the evidence was not collected, and then the mob entered, and the evidence was allegedly destroyed. Third, the corruption inside the hospital was at peak. Dr. Sandip Ghosh, as we are reading, was the main conspirator, and see, the state patronized him, did not even suspended him, though he was the one who misled the agencies. Fourth, by no security to medical professionals. Sandesh Khali we have seen. It is a state where women were being asked to compromise on the basis of religion. Post-poll violence, the National Human Rights Commission's report, you see. Post-poll violence, you would find that the victims were made accused. And it is on record. Now here, why the case was transferred to the CBI? The direction was passed because the police was not doing justice with the criminal justice system, which was required to do by them. Justice Verma committee was not implemented at all. Nirbhaya, Disha, and now Aparajita, making a law contrary to the law of the country, that to it's an eyewash. Was there any need to bring a further legislation? Or was there any need to give a free hand to the agencies? And also when the CBI took over the investigation, immediately all the evidences should have been, whatever was there, should have been given to the CBI. Why 7 to 10 days? Why High Court and then the Supreme Court took time? It was the duty of the state. And the same person who was an accused in the Shraddha scheme is the police commissioner and the main criminal inside the hospital, inside the seminar. Something has happened. And if Vineet Bhai, the journalist like you, would not have taken this call, then this would have definitely died again in darkness. What is happening to the other people? So I must say, here the time has come where the further legislation where the state's accountability should be fixed. As of now, the law and order is with the police. And suppose the state does not take any action, courts can't do. Court's duty is not to collect the evidence. Court has to act as per the evidences collected by the state machinery. And when here doctor says that we are not safe, then this has happened. And now today, a 28-year-old youth died during treatment as hospital, mother alleging the medical negligence and non-availability of doctors, because doctors, if you see the protest is because they are not safe at work. So the question is where the accountability of the state has to be fixed. Yes, over to you, Vineet Bhai.
Great points there. Pratim Ranjan Bose, are you there with us? And I hope you can hear me, Mr. Bose.
I can hear you.
Right. Well, picking on from where Ashwini left off, this is, an episode which is mired in not only controversy, but also surrounded by a lot of ifs and whataboutery. How do you look at the situation at this point in time? And, who exactly is at fault over here? Who's to be blamed for this death and the subsequent death that Ashwini just spoke about this young man, because there were no doctors available to him, and the state completely botching up and mishandling how something so sensitive should have been handled.
Yeah, Vineet. So the trigger was Doctor's Day, but the kind of protest, unprecedented protest that you are seeing is a complete no confidence by the civil society towards the government. It is apolitical. It's cutting across class, absolutely coming down on street or wherever they are on there. So they are protesting, and this protest is an accumulated protest of all these years of lawlessness and a blatant, I should say, the state actually went on protecting or didn't care about addressing the citizens' grievances. So it is now a much bigger issue, and the doctors are staying put, not only because that they are not feeling safe, but because there has been a feeling that everyone is let down. The advocate spoke about the post-poll violence case. Now that was 2021. No result as yet. 2 judges at the Supreme Court quitted during the proceedings. Then you see the job scam case. It is still there. So people are seeing restless. And politically, there is another case where, I am not getting into that, but that is also a very serious issue, that the majority of the population, the majority group of the population, they are getting dominated. Their voice is not heard, and no one is bothered to take care of it. Let's get back to the particular case. Quick bites. You see, Supreme Court recruited CISF in Arjikar. And then the center had to go to Supreme Court saying that we are not getting the support from the state. Can you imagine an issue is alive and such a small thing, state is not cooperating? Now, who is about Arjikar Hospital and all these scams and the involved corruption, etc., North Bengal lobby and etc., etc. Now, where does the buck stop? Who is the health minister of this state? So, So the whole thing is so blatant. You see, I think during over the last 3 weeks or so, we spoke about that construction activity in the hospital near the seminar hall, and then the police said that it was commissioned before the crime. As it came out, or now it is coming out, people are alleging that it was actually that order was given on 10th, the day after the death. So you see, there were so many complaints from day one against the principal and a lot of people. His bodyguards, he moved around with bouncers. Why the police didn't bother to take them into interrogation? Why the state didn't suspend or show cause or put him into on leave? Nothing, nothing. The state was so adamant that it is all right. That is where we stand. That state believes that we all are, whosoever is protesting, whosoever is reporting, whosoever is feeling agitated, are all wrong. State is only right. This is the crux of the problem.
Nirmal Kaur? Nirmal Kaur, are you there with us, ma'am?
Yes, I am very much here.
Right, ma'am. The crux of the problem here, according to you, culpability and liability obviously falls on the state. But even after a month of this horrific incident and dozens of protests and protests leading to a death of an individual because of the paucity of doctors, only goes on to show that this is still a situation which is out of control.
Definitely, and there's this all-pervasive corruption. I mean, that hospital, all-pervasive. All spheres of activity, hospital activity, and beyond are corrupt. They are in a self-styled manner. The people like Sandip Ghosh have been running these rackets, employing people of their choice, giving attendance or not giving attendance, giving beds or not giving beds, purchase of medicines. Now nothing, no supervision over the hospital, and this corrupt person was seen to be so not only corrupt in financial terms, morally corrupt, mentally corrupt, intellectually corrupt, in every which way. Whatever we've got to know about him, he's a very corrupt person, and he was given the run of the show and given such a pride of posting there, and seems to be a blue-eyed boy of the CM, because he's immediately was in fact promoted, elevated, posted as principal to a better college. Even after all this hangama, is going very strong, and the state somehow thinks that this crime is it is. They're autocrats, they're despots. They can do anything. So what a rape happened? Who is anyone to tell us? Who is the public to hold demonstration? Who are the doctors to protest? They're behaving like despots. And I think Mamata Banerjee and TMC cadres over the decades have become really highly despotic. And they just want their way or highway, nothing else. They're running all spheres of life, all activities in all spheres of life. Not only in political sphere, in economic sphere. If you're running some business, they'll interfere there. If you want to shop, if you want to encroach a particular land, or if you want to fix a lease rent, in every which way, they interfere in the social, political, economic, every sphere of human activity. They're interfering and they're determining that. So they are kind of lords, the local lords who run, like we had heard in tribes and all, especially the criminal kind of tribes, that the chief of the tribe will run everything, and that is the way it seems the TMC cadres are going. It's very retrograde. We are living in a civilized country. There has to be rule of law. There's no rule of law. There's only rule of TMC cadres. TMC cadres are the most powerful people there, and they can do anything, get anything done. So I think the crux of the problem is this all-pervasive corruption everywhere. And especially the mental, intellectual and dishonest kind of corruption. This dishonesty of the mind, dishonesty of the, not following law or not having really rules, not the same rule for everyone. Some people are superior to others, and that's quite a large cadre which is superior to others. So everybody has to fall in line with the cadre. That is, I think, is the crux of the problem.
Ma'am, what about the sensitivity and the handling of the case by the police in West Bengal? How does that also come into the fray? assuming that people are expecting better responses, more sensitivity, by our forces, by the police after Nirbhaya in 2012.
The case to its logical conclusion. They investigated, they worked hard, they saw to it, and they got a few lucky breaks. And so would these people would have, had they gathered the evidence in a proper manner. They did not gather the evidence. They messed up, they washed up, they deliberately removed the evidence. They cremated the body even before the FIR was registered. And the parents are, what is the great hurry? There could be a second postmortem in such a heinous case. The girl's legs are at 90 degrees, 180 degree apart. She's bleeding, broken in many places. And in such a heinous case, how could one hush-hush postmortem tell the whole story? And in a rape case like this, rape and violence, DNA evidence, other bodily fluids, so many other things, the state of the room, the circumstantial evidence, and all this is very important. And this was deliberately not gathered, and even after the body, the whole evidence was finished when the body is cremated. And after that also they thought if anything is left over, people went and vandalized the whole place. Construction started immediately when the scene of crime has to be preserved at all hours, but it was not preserved. It is sacrosanct to preserve the scene of crime. There are many places where 3 years, 4 years, hotel rooms are locked away because some crime took place there. And here you see what they have done. I think it is a deliberately bossed up investigation. And I'm really very, very, the hunch is that it is a murder disguised as a rape. More than a rape and murder. That is what every thinking person who's been reading up about the case must be feeling. And there's enough evidence to say that the girl was murdered for some ulterior motive and taught a lesson so that no other person ever dare stand up against them. I think that must have been perhaps the reason. That is what many, many people who are thinking, who are following up on the case, that is what they are thinking at the moment.
Dr. Aseem Mehti is also with us, child specialist and neonatologist. Dr. Mehti, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Dr. Mehti, how does this also put the focus on the safety and security ecosystem and parameters for doctors? Perhaps that was an unattended area, but it's a very tragic, very unfortunate way of raising that kind of awareness.
Listen, just I'm briefing the update of this case. This is very mysterious that on 14th of August midnight, whenever all the doctors, the protesters were on the road, all of a sudden a group of hooligans, they're hardly about numbering 70 to 80 only, but it has been wrongly explained by the police commissioner that it amounts to 5,000 and 7,000. In front of all the police officers, the hooligans entered the hospitals. In a single gate was opened, that is emergency gate. They destroyed all the instruments and everything on the emergency, and also the protesters, the temporary barricade and everything, and shelters. And they destroyed wrongly. They were assessed that it was situated on the 3rd floor, the chest medicine department on the 3rd floor. Just they thought that 3rd floor means is Teen Tala by Bengali or Hindi. But that was actually 4th, 4th tala tha, on 3rd floor tha. So they destroyed the ENT department, destroying all the instruments and all the valuable operation theatre, everything in front of the police. And police was totally callous.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.